144 is like all-time record, killing people.
That's what I was going to say. Like, you'd be dropping dead. Like, the water wouldn't even...
I knew your math probably wasn't the best on that, but also I was just like, maybe he's joking. I don't know.
No, I wasn't joking. I mean, you'll always know when I'm joking because I go, ha, 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 get it?
JK.
That's JK. That's right. No, it's 88 degrees there today. But
what's the heat index?
The heat index, isn't that how hot it feels? Again, I don't know what that means either. They go, it's like the wind chill in the wintertime. They go, well, it's 21 degrees outside, but it feels like 9. I'm like, don't tell me how I feel, weatherman. I don't tell you how you feel. How do you know how I feel? The actual temperature was around 100. The heat index, 144. They topped out around 93 degrees today. That feels more Rio-ish than normal. Pardon me. Hey, your Cavaliers are back home tonight. Been on the road for a minute. They're playing the Miami Heat, who are a little bit above 500 for the season. Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat. 7 o'clock tonight. Around the corner from here, 6:30 when we get going for the day is when your pregame coverage will begin with Michael Snyder and the rest of the Hee Haw gang. So tonight, Cavs basketball back here at home in the friendly confines. Is Donovan Mitchell still out?
Yeah, he's out for like a week. He broke his nose, I believe.
Yeah, and he's got an ankle thing, and these guys are banged up right now.
Yeah, it's a long season, man.
But it's still fun to watch them. So Cavs, Heat tonight, 7 o'clock on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app, which, of course, you can listen to for free. I also want to let people know, because this was news to me this morning, when we were all going back and forth, nailing down what we're going to be doing on Saturday. I'm going to be your host for the finals of the Bud Light March Mini Hoops Challenge. All month long, Bill and I have been out getting people qualified for this grand prize, which is a trip to Vegas to compete for $10,000. If you are good at Pop-A-Shot, I hope that you have come out and try to get qualified at one of our events. Finals, we're going to have a 32-person bracket this Saturday afternoon. We're going to do it at On Tap Bar and Grill in Medina starting around 2 o'clock. And they told me to make sure people know that you can still come and register if you want to. Maybe you weren't able to get to one of our qualifying appearances. You can come out and register to compete because we figure not all the finalists are going to show up. And so I like to go elbow deep into a giant fishbowl and pull out an alternate's name. You know how we do for the Polar Blast sometimes? Mm-hmm. People can't make it last minute. Something happens. Some people, maybe the sitter canceled. Other people, maybe they were on their way to Boston Mills Brandywine, unfortunately, slid into a ditch and died and couldn't make it. And condolences to their families. But this Saturday, if you weren't able to come out and join us, but you still want to try, maybe you think you're a diamond in the rough. Maybe you think you're amazing at Pop-A-Shot. Come out between 2 and 2:30. That first half hour of we'll get people registered, and then, if we need extras, you can get in there. But we have some people who qualified by coming out. We have other people who qualified online. So we will have a 32-person bracket.
I love that it's a bracket. I wish I was there for that.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So Saturday, we'll start around 2 o'clock, the finals of our Bud Light March Mini Hoops Challenge. Whoever wins on Saturday will go to Vegas to compete for the national title and $10,000. So On Tap Bar and Grill, I'll be your host Saturday afternoon out there in Medina. You can go to WMMS.com for all the details, I believe. But the, pardon me. But the information will be all there for you. And again, I'm not quite sure what out of all the qualifiers, I mean, you people who are in triple digits, those are really the people you got to watch out for. But again, you might be somebody who couldn't make it out, and you go, I'm going to come out, and I'm going to show you what fur. Can you show somebody what fur, or do you have to give them what fur?
I think you got to give them what fur.
I'm not sure on the specifics of what fur. But that's what that is. I've got some food news here to start. Top of the show. I saw somebody mention on this morning, I was clicking around, and somebody mentioned that it was National Ravioli Day, which normally, who cares? But you'll remember that Chef Boyardee moved to Cleveland. in the 50s or the 40s or the 30s or the 20s or the 10s or the aughts. He moved at some point there. This was a guy. His name was, what was his real name? Enrico Boiardi. His real name was Boiardi. And so that whole national.
Just Boiardi.
Yeah, his.
Boiardi.
His name was Franco Boiardi or something. Ettore Boiardi was his name. And he was, obviously, the guy behind the Chef Boyardee food brand. And he had started in New York. He and his brother had come over from Italy, and they had started at a restaurant in New York City. And then they moved to Cleveland, which in 1917, was a much bigger area of the country. And so he became the head chef at the Hotel Winton. And then people started to take note of what this guy was doing and, of course, became a national brand that people recognize to this day. What are the we weren't eating Chef Boyardee as kids, but what was this stuff? It was
ravioli,
SpaghettiOs is what they were called. That's what I was thinking of.
Hello, I'm Chef Boyardee. Perhaps you've seen my picture on Chef Boyardee products. I make real Italian ravioli, small tender macaroni pies filled with hearty Italian seasoned meat, smothered in vine-ripened tomato sauce, and absolutely no preservatives. So delicious. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. But the guy lived in or died in Parma, and he's buried out in Chardon. So for people who are, maybe I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Maybe you are a Chef Boyardee aficionado. But he died in 1985 at a nursing home in Parma, Ohio. And then his wife died 10 years later. And then his son died of cancer about 15 years ago. But he's buried in Chardon. But Chef Boyardee still out there. Now, I don't know if people understood what a boon to the Northeast Ohio culinary scene he was.
I mean, those ravioli,
were they good?
They weren't the worst.
Yuck. Well, there you go. They weren't.
Worst. Well, you had them because we threw them at you.
That was their original tagline. Hey, I'm a Chef Boyardee. They're not the worst. Come and get, what do you say yuck for, Poundcake?
Because
you had to have eaten as a kid. I mean, as you've described your life, you had to have eaten a lot of SpaghettiOs.
Nope.
Really?
No SpaghettiOs. That was, God, even my brother, who essentially ate everything. I don't even really think, we weren't a ravioli family. We were a ramen noodle family.
Even though you're half Italian?
Don't connect with that side of my family. Wasn't raised Italian. Didn't have Italian cooking. Didn't have any of that. I don't.
But I mean, even people who aren't Italian, I mean, Italian food is some of the most popular in the world.
Okay, that's like saying everyone who eats ramen noodles is associated with Asia. That's not the case.
I'm not saying everyone who eats it is associated. I'm just saying that you didn't. I'm saying that people don't have to be Italian to enjoy it.
We weren't that family. My brother.
Gotcha.
My brother liked the.
You were a cup of noodles family.
No, I was a cup of noodles kid. My brother liked the ramen noodles that was in the bag that you had to boil.
Yeah.
Mine was, I like to microwave the water and then pour it into the cup. I was the cup noodle kid because it had like the peas and the carrots.
He wanted that brick of noodles that you had to. Yeah.
He wanted the brick, which I thought
Top
was nasty.
ramen.
I was like, you don't have any vegetables in there. He's like, you don't need the vegetables. You got the sauce, the
broth,
the powder. No, he didn't like the powder. He just liked the noodles.
Okay.
Just the plain noodles?
Just the plain
He
noodles.
didn't put the seasoning in?
He put the seasoning in.
Yeah.
He used the water to mix with the seasoning, but he drained it when he put it in the bowl. Like he would put hot sauce on top of it. So he didn't like the broth. He wasn't a broth. I like the broth for the cup noodles, and I like the vegetables that came in it.
Wow.
He didn't like that. He just liked the noodles. So I don't remember us eating ravioli or anything like that. No SpaghettiOs.
Not even in college did you eat those things?
Still cup noodles.
Always noodles.
But I had the unlimited food plan in college, so it really wasn't that big of an issue. I would go to, what was our dining hall? Rob's, I think it was called.
Rob's Dining Hall.
We would go to Rob's Cafe, and I had my unlimited plan, so I would just go there, get a big to-go box of what I wanted to eat: pizza.
You could just throw food into a suitcase and walk out of there if you had
a suitcase. They had to-go boxes.
But I mean, that's what you're describing: is you would take as much as you wanted because you had some unlimited.
I had the unlimited food plan, so so I couldn't just like go in there any given time. So I'm like,
you were testing the boundaries of unlimited.
Y'all about to close? Let me go in there one more time, so then I would have food for the next morning too. So because I could swipe in and swipe out, I would just do it a few times a day, even when I wasn't hungry, because I was like, now when I am hungry,
just to be prepared.
I got something in my mini fridge.
Well, we've talked about it over the years, but I don't know that I've really mentioned this since we're talking about Chef Boyardee, who, of course, made his fame and fortune based out of Ohio. But when Bill and I, years ago, opened Papa Giuseppe's Checkered Tablecloth Pizzatorium, of course, it was a failed business venture, but we counted the Boyardee estate as one of our earliest investors. And so we were quite proud of that. Of course, we made the fatal mistake, as regular listeners to this show will remember, of opening 2 locations right next door to each other. And so we thought that that was real cutting edge. We said, well, it worked for Starbucks. Let's see if it works for us. And that combined with, I guess what we've been told was a horrible marketing campaign, just kind of...
Hey, get my meat sauce all over your face! That's what napkins are for, idiot! Papa Giuseppe's Checkered Tablecloth Pizzatorium!
Yeah, they told us a little too late that we probably shouldn't refer to the potential customers as idiots.
Well,
I thought we were being cheeky and that they would recognize that.
What's the secret to our delicious pizza? Simple. It's just microwaved Lunchables. Papa Giuseppe's Checkered Tablecloth Pizzatorium.
And we got sold a bill of goods on our executive chef, too. We didn't realize what, like that vegan bakery we were talking about out on Long Island last week that people discovered they were just selling Dunkin' Donuts as their own vegan donuts. The guy that we hired, it turned out that the pizza we were selling to people was reheated Lunchables, and really got one over on us. We really took a bath on that joint.
Papa Giuseppe's Checkered Tablecloth Pizzatorium. You tell us what you want to eat, and we make it for you. Ew!
Ew!
I thought the enthusiasm was to get people more into it. Also, I thought people would want like that kind of food for breakfast because we were open very early.
Well, yes. We had weird hours. It was just a confluence of things, right? We thought, we were trying to be too many things to too many people rather than really drilling down. It was our first time opening a restaurant, and we were very excited, of course, next door. We thought that the next door thing would be very, very helpful. Just go kitchen to kitchen. We had like an adjoining door like at a hotel room or something. And, yeah, we were open from 2:30 a.m. to 6 a.m.
The alligator pit that they had to jump over was probably a bad choice.
Right.
I thought it'd be
It was like Temple
motivational.
Run, but in a restaurant setting. We thought that'd be fun, too. So it was we were open from 2 in the morning to 6. And then, so that's like when you had to have breakfast, but then we were closed from 6 to noon to kind of get things going. And then we were open from noon to 12:45. And the scheduling was strange.
And you had to make a reservation, but you had to do it by telegram.
Yes. We had a hard time staffing. You think people have a hard time staffing now. You come talk to me. Many years pre-pandemic, we had a hard time really staffing people. You don't realize how hard it is to get wait staff to work 2 to 6 a.m. until you try to put that out there.
Recently named #1 on a list of the worst restaurants in America. But hey, it's something. Papa Giuseppe's Checkered Tablecloth Pizzatorium.
Yeah, that didn't help either.
So aggressive.
Well, when I said we need an aggressive marketing campaign, they took me a little too literally.
Mm-hmm. I live and learn,
We lived. We did not learn. Because those...
it's going to be annoying when somebody copies our idea and they make it successful. We were just ahead of our time.
Yeah, listen, we walked so that they could run, and that's all right. Also, you'll read these articles about how, as the climate gets more aggressive in a variety of ways, and that leads to all kinds of ecological shifts, the way that we grow and consume food will have to change. And so people talk more and more about bug powders and getting your protein from, X, Y, and Z. And there's a push now to get people into the frame of mind of thinking about eating snake. That there are, raising livestock is a very, very difficult process, the way that farming happens now, right, with cows and pigs and all that kind of stuff. Industrial farming comes at a very steep price, figuratively and literally. And so now they're trying to get people to start thinking about, how about snake? You ever had snake?
I have.
Yeah, I've had snake. Oh, yeah, you lived in the Philippines, of course.
Well, it wasn't
probably
there.
for
I had
breakfast.
It was, we stopped at the Dusty Armadillo, where they have the big Texas steak. The big, I don't remember what they call it, but it's a
Like
big
a
steak
porterhouse
challenge. But it's like a 96-ounce steak or something stupid like that, where if you eat it, you get it for free. What was it called? The Big Texan, I think.
Big Texan.
That's what it's called. I'm stupid. Anyway, we stopped there, and they had snake on the menu. And my dad's like, gotta try it. Gotta try it. And everybody else was like, I'm not gonna try it. And I wanted to be the one that was not afraid, so I tried it, and it was fine.
Yeah, it is fine. Like, if it's in with other things, like I had it in like a jambalaya or something a long time ago. But they're trying to get people to start thinking about pythons as a food source. Obviously, these are plentiful in certain parts of the world. But, pythons might be the dietary substitute that we're going to need down the road. Every couple of weeks, they're pulling some giant snake out of some dude's apartment in New York or even here in Cleveland. I'm sure there's somebody right now who's got some giant snake in their apartment or their house. Nobody knows. They think of it as a pet. Maybe they are grooming it to be eaten. But they're basically trying to sell us on pythons being great for protein. And, before you eat them, they're great at controlling rodent populations and things like that. And so if the future of food is eating bugs, and maybe you've had those too. I've had cricket powder. When anything comes in powder form, you don't really care what it is because it doesn't really taste like anything anymore. But snake it tastes like chicken. So that might be the future. Pythons outperform all mainstream agricultural species in protein conversion.
But their skin is just so tough. It has to
Well, you're not eating the skin.
What's the point of having chicken if you can't eat the skin? What's the point of having snake if you can't eat the skin?
Do you eat chicken skin?
Yes, Big, just fried. What do you mean?
Fried.
Do you eat
Well, then
chicken
fry
skin?
your snakes. No.
Yeah.
Then fry your snake skin.
When I ate it, it was fried snake. I don't know if they kept the skin on it. I don't remember.
Why don't you fry your snake skin then?
I've never had snake, so therefore I've never had the snake
Have
skin.
you ever seen snake skin boots?
Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
All right. Well, the person who made those into boots could have just as easily made them into a snake steak.
But they didn't. They made them into
Well, I don't know what they did.
because they know they're durable and they're hard.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing getting through snake skin.
Well, why don't you see, when we do our Poundcake on the Road series, we're going to get him somewhere where he can have some snake. And then he's going to go, oh, you going to fry the skin for me? And they're going to go, hell no. But I mean, it would be, I imagine, prepared like any other animal. You skin it, you cook it. I'm sure they'd say, these are animals that molt. You'd probably find some skin by the roadside there. Just take that home, drop it in the fryer.
It'd be like pork rinds when you get
Pork
it out.
rinds. There you
Ooh,
go.
there you
Python
go.
rinds. See, it's all coming together. You're figuring it out. And there's some food news for you. Let them eat snake. All right, I got a break. Want to send me a text, 35192, Alan Cox